Have you ever wondered what it feels like to be the last person standing on a beach, surrounded by chaos and uncertainty? Today, we're going to dive into the incredible story of Private Joe Barnes, a young soldier who found himself in that exact situation during the evacuation of Dunkirk in World War II. It's a tale of bravery, perseverance, and the unbreakable human spirit. So, grab your favorite warm beverage, pull those cozy blankets over you, and let's journey back to a time that shaped our world. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're joining us from. Drop a comment below and say hello. It's always a pleasure to meet you all. Picture this. It's June 4th, 1940. The beaches of Dunkirk are a scene of utter devastation. Abandoned vehicles, discarded weapons, and the haunting silence of a battlefield litter the once pristine shoreline. Amidst this desolation stands Private Joe Barnes, a 19-year-old soldier from Manchester, England. He's exhausted, scared, and wondering if he'll ever see home again. Joe had arrived in France just a few weeks earlier, full of youthful enthusiasm and a sense of duty. But nothing could have prepared him for the brutal reality of war. As the German forces advanced, pushing the Allied troops back to the coast, Joe found himself caught in the middle of one of the most dramatic evacuations in military history. For days, Joe had watched as ships of all sizes, from mighty naval vessels to tiny civilian fishing boats, braved the choppy waters of the English Channel to rescue stranded soldiers. He'd helped countless comrades onto these vessels, always telling himself, just one more, then it'll be my turn. But as the hours ticked by, Joe realized with growing dread that he might be left behind. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning fuel. German planes swooped overhead, their engines roaring like angry beasts. Joe could hear the distant rumble of artillery fire, growing ever closer. Yet despite the chaos around him, he remained at his post, helping stragglers make their way to the waiting boats. As the sun began to set on that fateful day, Joe looked around and realized a chilling truth. He was alone. The beach, which had been teeming with thousands of soldiers just hours before, was now eerily empty. The last ship was preparing to depart, and Joe knew this was his final chance. With his heart pounding in his chest, Joe sprinted across the sand, his boots sinking with each step. He could hear the ship's engines revving up, ready to leave. In that moment, Joe felt as if he was running not just for his life, but for his future, his family, and everything he held dear. As he reached the water's edge, a hand reached out to him from the deck of the departing vessel. With one final burst of energy, Joe leaped, his fingers grasping desperately at the outstretched hand. For a heart-stopping moment, he thought he might fall short, but then he felt the strong grip of a fellow soldier pulling him aboard. Collapsing on the deck, gasping for breath, Joe looked back at the receding shoreline of Dunkirk. He had done it. He was the last man to leave the beach, the final soldier in an evacuation that had saved over 338,000 Allied troops from certain capture or death. But Joe's story doesn't end there. As the ship made its way across the channel, he found himself reflecting on the friends he'd lost, the horrors he'd witnessed, and the uncertain future that lay ahead. Yet, amidst the sorrow and fear, there was a glimmer of hope. Joe had survived against all odds, and he was determined to make the most of this second chance at life. Upon reaching England, Joe was greeted as a hero, along with thousands of other evacuees. But the young private from Manchester knew that the war was far from over. He would go on to serve throughout the conflict, carrying with him the memories of Dunkirk and the knowledge that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can triumph. Years later, when asked about his experience, Joe would often say, "I wasn't a hero. I was just the last man standing on a beach, doing what needed to be done." But to those who know his story, Joe Barnes represents the very best of humanity: courage, selflessness, and an unwavering commitment to his fellow man. As we wrap up this incredible tale, I hope it has given you a glimpse into the personal stories that make up the grand tapestry of history. Joe Barnes may have been the last to leave Dunkirk, but he stands as a testament to the countless individuals who, in times of great adversity, rise to meet the challenges before them. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did Joe's story resonate with you? Do you have any family stories from World War II that you'd like to share? Remember, history is not just about dates and facts. It's about people, their experiences, and the lessons we can learn from them. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel. It's absolutely free, and it helps us continue bringing these powerful stories to life for you. Your support means the world to us, and it allows us to keep exploring the rich tapestry of human history together. Thank you for joining me around this virtual campfire. Until next time, keep those home fires burning, and never forget the courage of those who came before us. Stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in our next historical adventure.